Everything's good. Stream in 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to Just Grasp 1. We're in match number, I believe this is 4 or 5 now, with week 2 or actually this is actually week 1 match. This is one of our last week 1 matches of Serp or Mockjoy versus Hammy / Mayor Seat 2 here. Today, I will go ahead and be joined by Rose, and we'll be casting this Conquest best of 3 draft 3 format. And Rose, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I am noticing I think you never actually put a Twitch link in the server, so we might just be talking to ourselves at the moment.
That's okay. I got this. People get notifications when I go live too. It's fine, I believe.
All right, let me follow you actually. There we go.
You triggered my noise. Alrighty. Well, Rose, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell everybody about yourself for whoever's actually shown up here so far this morning.
Hello. I'm medium long-term Exceed player. I don't know, not too much exciting. I'm excited about this match. We've got Serp versus Hammy, who I'm both a little less familiar with, but I've seen Serp. They're pretty involved in customs. And Hammy is more of a mystery to me, so it'll be exciting to see what they play.
Yeah, I'm sure we both played plenty with Serp. Serp likes to show up a lot to customs nights, and they are a big Yuzu fan from what I know. As for what they might pick this match, that's beyond me. Other than Yuzu, I'm expecting the Yuzu, and that's it. Hammy, on the other hand, I don't think we've ever seen Hammy around, so I'm pretty excited always seeing the new players. We already had a great showing from a new player, Download, who might not be as new as we thought, but they showed a great showing regardless, and Adwin's also put up a pretty good match for theirs as well. So I'm hoping this match goes also quite well. Players are just going to go ahead and figure out draft here. And might be answering some questions here in a second, looks like.
Yeah. That would be, well, I guess hidden doesn't make sense, but it would be interesting to have a draft tournament where you actually are purely drafting to counterpick. You aren't as well. Like, you could have mirror matches if people really wanted to. Kind of a weird setup.
Yeah, I'm thinking my next tournament in this format is going to be, instead of draft, we're going to go with the pick next time.
Oh, racial player, let's go. Okay, okay. That's exciting.
Yeah, of course, you're being a big Rachel player yourself. You know, the main one known for Rachel in our server, from what I understand. This is going to be exciting for you. I'm sure you'll have a lot to talk about when we see Rachel get on the table. Hopefully, we see them get on the table.
That would be cool, yeah. Definitely are. When you say Rachel player, I think of like Byron and Taxi, I believe. Both have really good Rachels, but I've never seen them play too much. I've gotten into Rachel a lot more recently. So, yeah. Of the active players, I don't think anyone but me is currently playing that much Rachel, so it'll be exciting. Okay, and we've got Ram and Tao.
And we've got Ram, Tao, and Rachel on the table. I'm surprised we haven't seen the.
The Yuzu that
Yeah,
you were
the Yuzu's
mentioning.
not out yet. I do remember seeing Serp play these at least once or twice. As I said, I'm normally used to their customs, but I have seen both of these pulled out before. So
Hmm.
I'm thinking we might see third pick. Ooh, we got Gordo.
I'm
Ooh,
pretty into, yeah, this team so far. This is exciting.
yeah. I am a Hammy fan now. I am officially
Oh,
a
and there's the
Hammy
Yuzu.
enjoyer. There's the
I'm
Yuzu.
surprised that they went for it, but not one of the early picks, if it is the one you think the most associated with them.
Yeah, I'm also kind of surprised it didn't make first or second pick, but that's okay. I'm sure Serp was just leaving it for some time. we're getting the draft figured out slowly but surely, but we're getting there. We're almost there.
Yep. And luckily, this tournament, the blind pick always kind of slows it down a little bit. But in this tournament, after this round, we're not going to have to deal with that. After this game of this round, because the winner picks first and
Yep.
loser can counterpick.
Yes. Just in case I didn't explain it, as Rose was pointing out, the Conquest format here is Draft 3 Conquest, is both players pick 3 characters. Conquest means that the first pick will be blind, the winner will go ahead and pick their character first, next, and then winning character is out. So losing character can be repeated, so we could see the same character multiple times in a row, but the winning character will always be out to track a win. So you have to win with 2, as this is a best of 3 Conquest. So the winner will more than likely have one character that might not have gotten to play. If this is a 2-0 series. If it's a 2-1, we'll see all 3, more than likely.
Possibly. Depends on how much the players value their specific characters. Like, you couldn't just have both players, I want to win with these 2, I'm going to play these 2 until I win. So, depends. But
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people want to switch when they lose the game, even if they don't have to.
Yeah, you make a solid point there. It is very possible for people to go ahead and keep playing, and I actually haven't seen it yet in any of our matches, which was pretty surprising to me, because there's a few times where I thought someone might have stuck with their same character, but it was pretty popular to just keep switching characters here in this format. So we might see the same thing go on, or we might see something else. Let me see here. Hammy is typing in here. What do we got? This gives me a second to pop out my chat so I can read it when people show up. I think Rose might be a bit soft. Okay, I'll turn up Rose. Give me 1 second.
I
Thank
guess I'll
you.
just like say an extended sentence so you can kind of judge.
I'm just turning you up to 170. Let's see if that fixes. There we go.
All right.
All right, perfect. Perfect. All right. Thank you for that tinge of twinge, and welcome to the stream. And please go ahead and feel free to let me know if that's better, if you can hear Rose better as we're going through this. Let's see.
Thanks, Chica.
Oh, is that Chica?
Yep.
Oh, perfect. Hi, Chica.
It's funny, the Tabletop Simulator Exceed, you don't think of it as a game where lag matters, but I've been on the side of lag in tournament games before, and sometimes it's really annoying. Sometimes it's distracting, so hopefully Hammy's not too... Okay, there we go. Got the character.
Perfect.
Tau versus Ragna. Alright.
Tal versus Ragna first. We have the season 5 matchup first.
Yep.
Gotta love D's gotta love D's quotes in this mod. Stale bread, enjoy your drinker of water without ice.
Yeah.
Now, Tao, of course, being a very slippery, more wild swingy character with their front side UA, giving all their wild swings advance to spend a force retreat to. And then Ragna, of course, just kind of being that character that just kind of wins trades. That's their whole thing. They get a life. They're usually up on Delta on you for most of the trades, assuming that, everything goes properly. And if you're just
Yep.
trading with Ragna, you're probably going to lose. So we're going to have to see how Tao goes ahead and deals with this. Of course, Tao can be a bit tricky to catch, considering they're constantly in and out, in and out, in and out.
Yeah, Tau is... I'm not sure how this matchup goes. I'm not super familiar with it, but it is... Theoretically, Tau can certainly win a lot of strikes cleanly if the Wild Swings line up. It is pretty hard to defend against them if they're pulling the cards they need. So, I guess the question is maybe more what Ragna can do on their own turn to get that trading value.
Yeah, we're going to have to see Ragna not just let Tao walk all over them, because Tao will definitely walk all over them if they get the chance. Tao not having the most exciting defense in the world. because they're missing out on that ability since it's only when they initiate strikes, whereas Ragna's at it all the time. So we'll have to see how Ragna wants to go ahead and deal with this on their own turn, like Rose is saying here. Of course, here at range 4, looks like Tao's ending up going first. Tao can initiate pretty much a lot of things at range 4. She can go with Wild Swing. She had, well, that's most of what she's going to go with. But she does have her Kitty Litter Special Fireball if she wants. And then, of course, the normal dive opener. And then Ragna here also has their own their own range 4 options. They have Dead Spike, they have Gauntlet Hades, they have Hell's Fang, they have the normal dive. They're not sitting on any unclean options themselves over there. So we'll have to go
Yep.
ahead and see what we start off with here. If we're gonna just see how Wild Swing into this and just kind of throw it out there, if we're gonna see them actually play a card from hand.
Mm. Yeah, I wouldn't be too. I'm not a Tau expert by any means, but I wouldn't be too surprised to see a Wild Swing. This seems like a fairly favorable situation to go for one.
Yeah, I definitely am agreeing here. Seeing Tao go for that Wild Swing, putting them in that range 2 gives them quite a bit of options, especially since a lot of their moves do tend to hit at range 2. Excluding, Trick Edge, of course. That would be a pretty unfortunate something to draw right off the bat as Trick Edge or Grass, but most other things all
Yeah,
hit at
but
range 2.
even if you draw something that doesn't hit, you still have the option select to just go right back out unless Ragna's brave enough to defend with like a dead spike. Um, right, Ragnar has to make the call if he thinks you're actually going to hit him with the Wild Swing, and he probably just plays like a slow to trade in case you do, but it's always risky. Tau is really hard to defend against.
Yeah, I 100% agree. That having played against a decent amount of Tau, I remember back when I first started, that's all I'd play against, I swear. um,
Oh,
oh,
interesting. We're just going for a strike from hand, getting some economy, hopefully, out of it.
Well, now we're almost certain this has to be Kitty Litter Special or Dive now, right? Because this doesn't have an Advance 2 or anything on it. This is straight from hand.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be too surprised to just see Ragna throw out a slow here. Because Kitty Litter Special, of course, being 5 speed and the Dive being 4 speed, if you guess wrong, you're just out a card.
Yep. Could also just go for the cross out and waste the value, but I don't think Ragna wants to do that because Ragna would like Tau to be the one in the corner, not himself. Um,
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to agree with you on that point. We see a Spike come out. So, of course, Kitty Litter Special not going to stun out the Spike and is going to run straight into it. So we're going to get a... Actually, yeah, Kitty Litter Special is going to hit first, so we're actually going to get a unfavorable trade there for Tau. But Tau does get card economy out of it, so it's not terrible.
yeah, and that's a interesting call out, right? Because that does beat the Kitty Litter special, like we saw just here. Ragna should heal one if they don't catch that themselves.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it here. There we go. Ragna heal one. Perfect.
Yeah, but if that was a dive, that spike would just lose cleanly. So I wonder if that means that Ragna doesn't have a more reliable slow option in hand, and just had to go with what they could.
And then we see the defend boosted from Tau. Of course, Tau, if they decide to wild swing here, is going to put themselves in the corner, so they do have to be a little bit careful about this. Being in the corner against Ragna is not exactly the most exciting thing in the world. Of
Yeah,
course,
it also takes away a lot of value of your own ability if you can't get out if you don't like what you're seeing after the cards are revealed.
oh, 100.
Because
Go ahead. Finish your point.
just because you are stuck in the corner, like you can only retreat to range 2, where everything Ragnar does basically will hit you anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Because then when we're in the corner with Ragna, we're also starting to get scared of these slower options. We got Blood Scythe, we got the normal sweep, we got, all these options. And then we even have Inferno Divider. It's another scary card that we have to worry about when we're sitting at this range 2 of Ragna.
Yeah.
I'm going to see the Revolver action boosted here, looking to get more card economy for Ragna here in response to this defend.
I wonder what the defend telegraphs for Tau. Maybe like a crossout to survive the defensive Inferno Divider um, and get back to a more favorable range. Not sure what other Tau moves really care about having this defend on them.
Yeah, I think you might be onto something there with that defend against that Inferno Divider specifically, because Tau does have these range 2 options that are 5, then they have 6 speed, Cat Spear at 1. If they're not looking to Wild Swing, they're looking to get from hand, then they're likely going to play either a cross out, or they could look for something, like Cat Spear at 1, which is also its own flavor of cross.
Yeah, basically across itself, especially at this range.
Mm-hmm. Whew!
Oh, okay, interesting.
We're seeing the Meow I'm serious with Wild Swing. Oh, man!
Well, that
In
does just give Tau. Like, if Tau hits, Tau is not getting hit back with this. That's for sure.
Yeah, we're going somewhere with this. We're about to see Tau pounce across the board. Okay, here's the Inferno Divider with the defend. This is an I'ma beat the crap out of you. That's unfortunate. We're not gonna see that go through. We have a Kitty Litter special.
Oh, this is really unfortunate for Tau because she can't make that hit in any way.
Yeah.
Even though the defend does its job and stops the Inferno Divider from stunning.
Did they take the appropriate amount of damage there? 5, 8. Yeah, they did. Okay, cool.
I'm not understanding the movement that's going on the board here. Oh, yes. That's what the players are doing wrong. Okay, cool. It's funny, the push one would actually be in Tao's favor. The Tao would love if the push one happened this strike, but again, no dice. This is the worst wild swing Tao could have gotten, probably.
Yeah, this is actually an abysmal Wild Swing now, as you mentioned, because the Meow I'm serious doesn't go off, so Tau is stuck in that corner position, which is where we don't want to be with Ragna.
Yeah, and one kitty litter was already down too, like,
Yep.
so that's unfortunate. This is why I think Tao can be quite a strong character, but I'd be really stressed out about having them in my tournament team because if stuff like this happens, it's like you did the right thing probably. That was a reasonable play, but just the 1 in 20 really messed you up.
Yep, the live and die by the Wild Swing is exactly as it sounds. It's a ride or die type situation, and right now we are not looking so hot on that riding. Well, this puts it back to Ragna's turn. Ragna's just going to take the turn to prep. Tau is almost certainly going to want to get out of this corner. I can't imagine they're going to be too happy here.
Yep. And it's interesting. Their ability does get them out of the corner, but you mostly don't want to be using it at range 1 because you could get a slow, but if you don't, you're going to just lose to grasp every time.
Yeah,
So it's risky.
that is the problem with range ones. We're just going to choose to run out. I think that's fine.
Yeah, that's a much safer option.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense here, just running out. We do have to worry about what Ragnar wants to play here next, but now we have at least some option to kind of survive here.
Yep.
Ragnar full hand on deck. I imagine we'll just strike here. We might see them start boosting something with that life lead. I see a card getting turned sideways here. Yeah, we're just going for that boost. We're looking for the Nightmare Edge, getting that speed on deck.
That is interesting though, because certainly if Ragna has like an assault, it becomes a pretty good option right now. But at this range, the speed Tau could just wild swing, and the speed might not make the biggest difference.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm
Uh,
thinking here too. Is exactly the point you brought out. Is we could just be wild swinging with Tau. It looks like we're gonna EX actually with Tau.
okay, this is interesting too. What? Hmm.
Well, since this is from hand, this has to be an EX Diver Assault, right? Those are or Spike. EX Dive Assault or
Yeah,
Spike. But into that plus speed, I doubt we'll see one of those slower
it
options.
can't be the spike because we've seen a defend go down.
Oh, true.
The dive does feel pretty risky, but right, you've got to represent that in your mix-up if you are going to do what you're doing here, unless we're missing something about the options.
Yeah, because Kitty
Um,
Litter Specials, both of them are down, so that's the only option that really hits here. Let me see. Yeah, none of the other Tau options actually close, except for Trick Edge, which only closes at the edge of the arena, though.
yeah.
I mean, this could just be some fancy EX sweep if we really want to say that. Oh,
Yeah,
the
and
6
Ragnar
speed
does call
assault.
it the dive.
Yep. I think we're seeing some pretty solid play here from Hammy so far. They're up quite a substantial life lead. They're going to be at 30 life here.
Yeah. Um, which they might not have caught. You might need to tell them again, but they did get the push on the boost.
Yep, we got the push on the boost. We chose to push one, making sure that if Tao Wild swings, she's only going to end up in range one of us, making
Yep.
it much more unsafe.
Um, Ragna's just going for a strike. Um, that's
Woo!
a pretty good sweep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
this
was.
was. I don't. I think this was reasonable. We saw a cat spirit and a cross go down already, so undercurve is a little more appealing than usual. Um, I guess Tao does have like a couple of other cards that like slashy might randomly be at a sweep here, but yeah, went for it and it paid out pretty well because Tao's just gonna go down to one card in hand, take damage through the block.
Yeah, now Tao at this weird position. They have one card in hand. They're at range 2. If they start wild swinging, they end up at range 1. This was looking pretty rough. Ragna's sitting at 4 gauge. They can choose to exceed if they want for that extra +1 power, or they can just, start hammering out some of those ultras.
Yep. Ragna doesn't want to cross out here, which does make the wild swing fairly effective, but yeah, if I were Tao, I'd rather just get resources at this point because you can't afford to just let Ragna hit you 4 turns in a row.
No. Well, we got some resources back as Tau. Hopefully they ended up drawing something good that's going to allow them to, interact a bit more here. And, see if this game go ahead and continues on, if we're going to see Ragna keep dominating.
So if Ragna chooses to exceed, they have the choice of range 1 or 2, but they're just going to go for a strike. Okay.
Yeah, I think they're just kind of hammering out their presence on the board here with all these strikes, just saying, hey, I have the card advantage. We're at range 2.
Yep.
Play the Gauntlet
Oh,
Hades into the focus. I mean, this is
and
fine.
that's a good trade for Ragna. 4 damage into the focus because of the ignore armor, heal 1,
Hmm.
take 3 back. Or I guess the heal doesn't go off because you're
Yeah,
faster. But still, when you're up this much life, you can afford to take even trades.
exactly. We're up 12 life. We're sitting comfy. We're not worried about these Gauntlet Hades, taking damage back from these
And
zones.
this is a good like cross or kitty or cat spirit 1 call out. Maybe that's why it was played, is because that is what Tao would probably like to do in the situation if they're brave and if they're not worried about Inferno Divider, just cross out of most of the other options. But yeah, Ragnar's got the mix up.
Yeah, now we're back to that problem where we're at this range 1. Tau can go ahead and play that Wild Swing hoping for like a cross or something, but they do have to worry about, Grasp. They have to worry about Inferno Divider. Yeah, they're Inferno Divider still. They have to worry about these options, so even going for Wild Swing here is a little bit risky, so it looks like they might be boosting something.
Yep,
Here's the other
here's the.
cross. Yep.
That's sad having to spend both crosses against Ragna as run because it is nice to be able to cross out of his really scary strikes, but it makes sense in a situation. You can't really be in the corner like that, and you don't want to risk Ragna just grasping you if you wild swing there.
Yeah, no kidding. We don't wanna risk a lot of stuff with Ragna, especially being down 12 health.
Yep.
Even trades we take with Ragna at this point is, I mean, it was already Ragna favored, but it's even more Ragna favored now. And if
I
they
wonder
start
what the
correcting some of these
best
options,
path back into the game for Tao is. Like, maybe if Ragna exceeds, but Ragna doesn't need to be going for it, Tao could run away and just waste the exceed pretty effectively. But Ragna seems to have that in mind and just take strikes without exceeding here.
hmm yeah. Now range 3, of course, we have plenty of options on the table. I doubt we'll see either of the supers come out, but I mean, we have the other Gauntlet Hades, we have the Blood Scythe, we have the Sweep, we have the Dead Spike. We're
Yep.
guessing pretty hard here, is Tell.
And most of Tao's mid speeds are down, so okay.
Whew.
So a slow would be a somewhat reasonable option as well as on the offense, but it is just the dive into the assault. Dive gets called out. That's good. That Tao needs exactly that sort of strike to keep happening.
Yeah, exactly. Tell needs to start kind of getting these strikes right in order to keep playing the game, because otherwise we're about to see them diminish pretty fast here.
This is the
No.
third gauge, which is notable because Tao has Hexa Edge. Unfortunately, Ragna has a bunch of slows that will trade with it, but it is just an option to keep in mind, of
Yeah,
course.
we do still have one Hex Edge on the table. Unfortunately, both I'ma beat the crap out of yous are gone, so we won't be seeing that unless we see a reshuffle come out. But Hexa Edge is still on the table. There is one more of that in the deck somewhere. We're not terrible on range 1 options here, but we are worried about that grasp because that grasp is going to throw us out of a lot of our range 1 options.
Yep. And we have... Okay, Soul Eater. Fair enough.
I think both grass are on the table for both sides, actually, still. I don't think we've seen a single grass played.
That sounds correct. That's also pretty... Um, I'm trying to think, do you care... As Tau, your Wild Swings are good at ranges like 3 to 5, or where you really want to be, I think. And Grasp is a little sad because you don't trade generally if you pull it at 4 or 5. You can just retreat back, but you don't get to actually win either.
Yeah.
So that's how, yeah. You'd like to have your Grasp in hand, probably.
Yeah, you definitely want to have your grasp in hand as Tau because that's one of the things that doesn't hit at range 2. Same with kind of like that trick edge. You don't really want that sitting in your hand either unless you know you're at that optimal position to get all the way back to the edge of the arena to get that close 3 effect. Ooh, we're seeing the almost becoming 2 come out. That's the other Hex edge you were just talking about. Making a known wild swing on Tau's side. With a hit gain advantage, I am certainly curious what we actually ended up with here.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because this is a mix-up, right? Like, if Ragna plays a Grasp, it's pretty reasonable value for him anyway into a slow, because he's going to heal 3. But if Ragna plays a slow, this could actually be a mid-speed, and that would be a really good strike for Tau. So if I was Ragna, I'd just defend on curve here. Force it to be a slow trade pretty evenly into it.
Yep, and as you called it, there's the sweep from both Ragna and Tau. Of course, this was one of those situations we're talking about where it's trading evenly, but it's not even because it's Ragna. He's just healing
Yeah,
3
he's
HP
about to
here.
heal 3 right here.
I think they only took 3 in order to... Actually, no, because they were at 20 something. That's
They're
right.
22, yeah, so they need
Yeah.
a heal up to 19, which they appear to have. Yes, they've got it. Okay, but Tau does gain advantage, so Tau can try to do something here.
Yeah, the question is, what does Tau do here? We have the advantage. I mean, attack Meow Pow as much as I'd love for that card to hit. It's hard.
Yeah, you generally need like almost becoming 2 or setting it up by like crossing out or something on your turn.
We're just going for the prep here. I'm actually curious to see why we didn't just CC a whole lot here, honestly. I mean, we could be looking for that overdrive, which that overdrive might allow us to get some, some value. But it's
That's
still,
true.
we're still in a
Yeah,
pretty scary
Tau.
spot here.
You don't see Tau overdrive too often, but it is a really strong effect. It's just the way Tau's kit is shaped, her front side ability is already quite strong. Um, but yeah, I could see it because, like you're saying, the Tau's out of alters in deck, so this gauge is doing nothing until a reshuffle happens.
Yeah. Although I see a type in chat, I wonder if we're going for that reshuffle, actually.
Yep.
Yep.
Looks like we are.
I'm almost certain we're going to see a burst here from Tau on their next turn if they're able to go ahead and execute that next turn there. There's almost certainly, I don't think we're keeping that in hand unless we're setting it up real crazy like.
I don't know. I'm a greedy player. I would want to hit that 9-day. Like I would look at that and I'd be like, that's my way back into the game. But it certainly is like non-trivial to land. So I think the smarter option, like you're saying, would be the burst. But never count it out, right?
Yep, that's exactly what I'm thinking here too. Is that, of course, a number of times I've tried to hit that and it's almost almost counterpart Potemkin Buster. Though those two cards with their advances, they're not the most fun things in the world to try and hit, but when you do hit them, it feels great.
Yep.
Yeah, you're typing in there. I was just going to tell them it's on the reference card if they really want the actual rules, but it is correct.
So okay, yeah, that reshuffle makes sense. Now Tau and threaten all these altars again. I think what you were calling out, just going for it a turn earlier, would have also made sense, but depends how Tau valued the cards left in the deck. Maybe they really wanted to see something in their hand before reshuffling. I don't know what that would be, though, in this situation.
Let's see. There was a Cat Spirit 1 somewhere in there. There was the double paw strikes we never saw. The slashy slashies we never saw. The trick edges we never saw. Yeah, we didn't see a few of about a good portion of the Tau specials we actually didn't see before the reshuffle happened. So I'm curious if they were just sitting in hand or if they were gone, or if they were in the deck somewhere and that was Tau was looking for.
Yep. Ragna just striking again.
We're gonna wild swing this. Oh boy. Oh wait, actually.
That's funny. That is a trade. Again, you're not happy with this trade given the life totals, but you'll take it rather than just losing.
Yep. So we'll heal one as Ragna. Perfect.
And Ragna does gain advantage, which is really scary now because if he just mashes Inferno Divider, you need armor or you're dead.
Yeah. That is a thing. We're out of sweeps. I think we have both focuses still, and we have one Inferno Divider left as Ragna.
Yep.
And then, of course, we also have the other sweep, Blood Scythe. We have one of those left, too.
Yep. But if you're Ragna here, and that's Inferno Divider, you just instantly play it. I wouldn't even think about it if I was Ragna.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Inferno Divider is being mashed here.
Though, given the it feels like this game has gone really fast,
Woo!
but the Ragna's only,
Woo!
yeah, still has 14 cards in deck, so Ragna doesn't necessarily have these options that he would like to be attacking with.
Yeah, and we just saw the other Assault go down, actually, from Ragna. The Assault being an interesting choice here. I mean, it's considering Tau just reshuffled, because Tau having a decent amount of options that can go ahead and counter that, and the gauge to
Well,
do so.
just the Cat Spirit and the Cross we saw, right? Because on defense, you don't get the advance and everything else. There are stuff that would trade with the Assault, but Tau's low enough that she just dies anyway.
Yeah, you do make a good counterpoint there.
Yeah, I think Ragna's just trying to close it out with, like, he didn't have the optimal card in hand, it just wanted to see if he could end the game here.
Oh, here we are, the Exceed line that I was talking about.
Yep.
Although no burst beforehand, which is a little bit. I wonder if they're gonna burst next. They're gonna burst next turn. Yeah, they're gonna Exceed now, burst
Oh,
next
I
turn.
guess Exceed also, like I was saying, if you want to land the attack Meow, it's nice to have, like, almost becoming 2, so you can get your front side ability on it, but this is another way. If you can just Exceed, if you have 7 gauge and you Exceed and play attack, you can just land it that way. So it's not... And Hal has enough gauge, he could conceivably get 1 more gauge in time to try it.
This is also this is actually factual. Let's see. Could they make the space though? Because they'd have to advance 2. That's past Ragnar with the overdrive effect. Then they'd have to retreat 2.
I think if I were Tau, I'd want to use the overdrive. And Ragnar doesn't do something to change the situation, I would retreat 2 right now and then strike. So that way you get more distance rather than having to strike at range 1 or not use your ability and, like, manually move.
Looks like we're just CCing the Carnage Scissors here. Of course, Carnage Scissors not being the most appropriate thing to use at range 2, so I suppose it does make sense. I wonder if
I'm
we're
surprised
looking.
it wasn't a bigger CC with the gauge though, because, like, it's there. You're not gonna need it for this game. How's that 4 health?
Yeah,
Even if you are holding, like, trying to threaten EX Devoured or something, you could do that with just 3 gauge. Maybe you're trying to threaten a EX Exceed Devoured. That would be funny. Just surprise I.
just EX devoured Exceed.
That's actually
Holy.
really spooky. Like, I don't know if it's worth going for, but if you have 7 gauge, right, any turn that you start with range 1 to 4, you can exceed and hit them with 7 speed. That's
Yeah,
funny.
that is correct. All right,
Okay, Tao
here we
is
go.
just going for the advance here, but this is interesting because they're going to be forced to go back into the corner with their effect. So I don't know. I don't know what
Yeah,
the plan is.
yeah. I think I would have
Maybe they have a boost. Oh, okay.
Yep, their surprise. So the trick edge was most likely being held in hand specifically for this. Although we still haven't seen the burst yet. I wonder if they're actually looking to hit it.
That would be cool. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, so
Astral
would I.
finish in a tournament game.
Astral finish in a tournament game. That would be hype. Range 3 now. Ragna is out of a lot of their range 3 options, actually.
Yep,
They,
we saw the assaults come out earlier.
yep. We saw the assaults. We saw a Hell's Fang. We saw a Dead Spike. So we're
Alright,
just
this
gonna
is gonna be
block
6
this.
power. Yep.
We
This
almost
is
certainly
scary though.
spend here.
Yeah, again, Ragnar just has all these
Hmm.
sources. I feel like he should use them. But
Yeah, we're just gonna spend 2 gauge here.
yeah,
Makes sense.
makes sense. But this is scary for Tau because you're again ending your turn at range 2, so if Ragnar has drawn the Inferno Divider in that intervening time, it's again a really scary option. But
Although the really funny thing here is look at our positioning. If we don't see something like if we just sit still as Ragna, it is a very possibility that we actually see an astral finish here. Or an astral. It won't
well,
be a finish, but it will be an astral.
yeah. Question is, what's the follow up after it, right? Because you're giving Ragnar another chance to strike into you at that point. Um, okay, there's the Exceed.
Okay,
It's interesting.
we're exiting here, but we don't have Devoured by Darkness on the table anymore, is what we were guessing is gonna
Yeah,
happen.
if they just spent 1 for the block, I would be like, oh, it's the line I was talking about earlier. But they did spend 2 gauge, so they can't do that.
Although
So they
we
just
did
want to.
close one. We
Oh yeah,
did
maybe they just now Grasp is lethal. This is puts that as an option.
Grasp is lethal, Infernal Divider is double lethal. We see the
Uh,
Blood Scythe, which is also lethal. Yeah, because this just closes one. It doesn't get beaten out by Hex Edge.
yeah,
Unless, wait, no, wait,
no, yeah,
yeah,
that's game.
that's game.
But Tao did bring it back. That was a lot closer than I thought it would be. But no, just not quite enough to make up the life difference.
Yeah, that was almost a comeback from Tal. That was actually really exciting.
If they had 1 more force, that would have been great because then they could have boosted this advantage and played Attack Meow Pow, and that would have been
Oh yeah,
that's the way to win.
that would have been
But
spice.
1 force short of doing that, and Ragnar cut them off before they had the chance anyway. All right, so
Yeah,
that's game 1. Ragnar takes it. I wonder who we'll see in the next game. We might need to remind them of the character picking rules. We'll see if they figure it out.
we're being typed at.
Yeah, they're asking. I wonder. I feel like often people just delete their character even when they're still pickable. The fact that we're seeing Tao like pulled back to the side makes me wonder if there is actually an intention to repick Tao.
Well, I will tell you right now, if I am Serp here, I'm probably picking Yuzu because I know Yuzu is a
Yeah,
strong
you want your
character that I
chance to
have.
play your. That makes sense.
Probably picking Yuzu here. Yuzu is my strong character. Let's see. They're playing what? Rachel or Gordo? Yeah, I'm fine playing Yuzu. It's fine, right? Yuzu being that range 3, of course, you're gonna have to stay closer to Rachel. You're not gonna want to let her get to range 50 and start firing Lobelias at you.
Yeah,
But
it's interesting. Yuzu definitely season 6. Just the boosts in season 6 are quite good against zoning,
mhm.
but Rachel is also good at range 3, which is a problem for Yuzu's game plan. I mean, once you are doing the like +1 speed mix-ups, Rachel has to respect your assaults and stuff, but Rachel can just defend with her whirl and call out any of your options faster than Spike until then. Um, hmm.
Yeah. As they're asking, I'll go ahead and explain to the audience here. Of course, it's being a conquest. Loser gets a lot of heads up when it comes to conquest, right? So in this particular conquest format that I have, is that they are going to see the pick first before they pick their character, and then they're also going to get to choose whether they go first or second. So it is a bit of a heads up to kind of to try and get into a game 3 position with this tournament. So we're gonna have to see what Mayo go ahead and picks here, or Hemi here goes ahead and picks because they are going to be going second, more than likely, and they are going to be picking first. So they're going to have something that's going to be able to accommodate that. Now, between the two options they have, Gordo, of course, being infamous for liking to lose to the card name sweep with their ranged options. And, they do have this discard function, right? So with these discards, this can go ahead and hurt some characters if the Gordo starts getting strikes in, especially if these characters don't want to Wild Swing. Like Ramlethal probably is not too happy about Wild Swing, whereas Yuzu might have a easier time of it because they have a lot of range 3 cards. Rachel, on the other hand, is going to want to be zoning, so if one of these characters gets in on them, they're not going to be the happiest in the world. Not to say they can't brawl, but it's not going to be as exciting for them.
Yep. Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. The Gordo might might not be the pick. It'd be like Serp can just pull out the Tau again and be like, okay, you can discard my hand. I'm still Tau. So I might lean towards picking the Rachel here, but I don't think about counter picks all that much in this game. I just comfort is strong.
Yeah, I 100% agree. That is, when it comes to fighting games, even Exceed, it usually ends up being comfort before, tears, right? Because you and with before counters and stuff. Of course, you'll end up with counters, but there's always ways to deal with them. You know,
Yep.
even if you're closed in with even if you're closed in with characters, you still have 16 cards that work at pretty much range 1 or 14, I believe it is, because we're not counting start 12 because we're not counting diver spike. There we go, man.
All right, we are gonna see the Rachel. It looks like. Um, so given it is the Rachel, hmm, I'm not sure how the Rachel versus Tao matchup goes. I could see that being a pretty interesting matchup. Rachel versus Ram. I don't think there's any like super obvious. Okay, but it is the Yuzu, like you were saying.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, I see Serp play Yuzu quite a bit as their main comfort character, so I am not surprised here at all to see the Yuzu come out, especially when they're
Yeah.
down one match. Um, I don't know. Since you are the Rachel player, how do you feel about Rachel versus Yuzu here?
Yeah, that's what I was saying before Serp just made the pick and made my commentary irrelevant. I think any of these three matchups are going to be pretty reasonable. Like, I don't imagine one side is going to be super favored in either, but I haven't played any of them actually, as far as I know. So, that's just from a sight read. None of the tools are like super oppressive in either direction, I think.
Yeah,
So it should be a pretty interesting game. But yeah, we'll find out for real when it actually comes and we have to start thinking about card interactions.
yeah. Now it looks like we're getting a couple seconds here from Hammy to go ahead and discuss these cards. As Rachel, of course, what are you kind of scared of at this range for? With Yuzu getting the first turn and being able to close that gap. They don't have a lot of options to close a gap other than dive, but normally
Well,
this.
they
Yeah,
have the season 6 normals, and that's what I'm afraid of. I'm not afraid of any strikes here, because as Rachel, you can just mash like Flying Lobelia on defense, and that will beat every Yuzu option at this range. But what they can do is they can advance 2 and strike, or they can respect into you, or air dash into you, or boost plus 0 to 1 range on their on their better spike. Yuzu has pretty good boosts, and this is not a range that Yuzu would want to stand at, I think.
yeah, I think you're definitely right on track with that because usually wants that 1 to 3 range. That's where all her cards shine, especially at range 3. Being against Rachel, of course, when you are at that range 3 instead of something like range 2, you do have to worry about stuff like Flying Lobelia because it's going to push you out of a lot of your moves. Um, Yuzu does have ways to counter it, of course. They have the Yae Ichirin, which is the same speed as Flying Lobelia on offense. And then at these closer range, they can also bait out a Lobelia with something like Tachi, because Tachi has a ton of guard on it.
Yeah, Tachi is a pretty good one to initiate with at range 3 because Rachel, on defense at range 3, she's got like her 2 main tricks. She can whirlwind you, so anything unguarded she'll beat, and she can Lobelia you and push you to range 4, and anything that doesn't hit at range 4 and is slower than Lobelia she'll beat. And Tachi actually just interacts favorably into both of those.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. Is that Tachi is going to be a pretty pivotal card here. Of course, the one of the cards you mainly don't want to get hit with by Yuzu is usually her 7 damages because she does have two. One is a lot harder to hit than the other, of course, that being the Saki. But the Kiri is not the hardest thing in the world to hit, and it is scary to get hit by, especially if you're not anticipating it. That
Yep.
is a 7 damage on deck. We're going to see the prep here immediately from Yuzu, giving a chance for Rachel to actually interact here. With this interaction, I mean, we have plenty of options. We can go
Yep.
into a closer range and play some range 3 options. We can back out and just fire our Lobelias. We have options. So I'm kind of curious of this move here by Yuzu, but I'm excited to see
Yeah.
what we're going to end up here. Of course, there's the strike, as we were guessing. No ability at all.
Given no ability, I would want this to be flying Lobelia because again, it's just super safe here. Rachel could also have backed up in Tiny Lobelia, and that would also have been a solid play. But given she didn't, I'm expecting flying.
Yeah, I'm almost certain this has to be flying. I think it would be a little bit crazy if we saw something like a dive here. No, it actually is
Oh,
just the tiny
all
Lobelia.
right, interesting. Oh, this is a little unfortunate though because you're being inefficient. You're wasting the hit trigger by not having anything in your discard. Um, but yeah, it's free. It's damage. It worked.
All right, just opting to take that 1 damage as Yuzu. I'm pretty sure we just saw a Wild Strike block, or Wild Swing block.
Yep, absolutely. Um, Rachel has to place this at range 3 or greater. So I would just probably. I mean, it's tough because I again fully just expect the user to move this turn. I might place it there, yeah, so it's more relevant in the future. But on the other hand, if you place it at range 4, you actually force the user to do something. Um,
All right,
but yeah, I like this placement. Seems reasonable.
I
And
see it.
Yuzu boosting, presumably, here.
Yeah, I see a card being turned sideways. Of course, boosting from season 6. That means that we could see just a something simple like a spike boost where it's just close 1 strike.
Yeah.
Or we could see, respect, like you were mentioning, advance up to Rachel's face. We could see a bajillion things boosted here.
Yeah, Yuzu has actually pretty good boosts herself. Like, she could boost this +0 in range that gets sustained as well. That would be reasonable threat at this range. Though, again, I guess the Flying Lobelia is a pretty good answer to it. But okay, this is probably what I would want to play if I was Yuzu here. Just get in, start getting engaged, start hitting Rachel.
Alrighty, what do we got for the range 2 matchup? There's the spike drop into the focus.
Huh.
So this is just, what, 3 damage to 4 damage? We're just trading
Yep.
here?
I was surprised to see the spike drop. Maybe Rachel really didn't want to get hit by that 7 damage special. But I feel like there has to have been. Well, I don't know Rachel's hands.
Yeah, we see the 4 cards in Rachel's hand and the 6 cards in Yuzu's hand, so we're a bit lacking here on Rachel's side. Uh, Rachel playing the spike drop there, yeah, that's a little bit interesting. I wonder if they didn't play the Flying Lobelia because they were scared of something like the focus, or they were just like, I'm going to get hit by it anyways.
Yeah, I mean, if as Rachel here, what I would really want to do is like cross out, or maybe play a slow. But I mean, you don't always have cross, of course. And at range 2, it's a little scary, right? Because all of your scary options are mainly like 3 and greater, and then you have a reasonable range 1 with electric chair. But at range 2, you don't have that much that calls out just the opponent doing whatever they want to do.
Yeah, and then we saw the power get boosted for Rachel. I wonder
Okay,
what,
that's interesting.
especially now that the spike drop's gone, right? Because that's something you'd want to see with the spike drop is that power boosted for that
Yeah,
7
I could
damage.
see a world where you like retreat one and boost power and threaten this scary whirlwind, but at range 2, it's again like if the Yuzu is willing to cross out, which is an if, right? Because Rachel does have the zoning. Your whirlwind is not 100% safe like it would be if you just retreated one first. Um,
So we
but
just see the
okay,
respect get boosted here. Okay, are we going to range? Yeah, we're just going to range 1, right? Because Rachel's ability reads close, it doesn't read advance.
yeah,
So we're just going to range 1 here, sitting comfortable on 6 cards, saying, hey, Rachel, you have to strike into me, otherwise I'm getting 2 cards and I'm going to start the smackdown next turn.
yeah. I think I'm not a huge fan. I'd rather save that respect for later in the game if you have to make a big movement to catch Rachel again. But it does force Rachel to do something or give you cards. I think
Yeah,
people overvalue the part of respect that gives you cards. Like, if you don't have a good option, just let them draw.
yeah, that is very true. Is that we are sitting at this point where respect is played at range 2, which range 2 is not terrible for Yuzu in the first place. So we're not we're just kind of playing this respect here early, and Rachel's pretty happy about that because that means that later she can go ahead and say, okay, our respect is down. I don't have to worry about Yuzu getting in as much. Of course,
Yeah.
Yuzu having access to other things to get him in, but for this particular purpose, his advance 3 is pretty big.
Oh, Rachel really likes range too. I guess we'll find out why.
If this is the other spike drop, I'm gonna
That would
laugh.
be pretty funny. I'd be into it. Like, people never expect the second of a card that you haven't EX'd when you haven't drawn more cards and it's early in the deck. Okay, just a spike. Oh, that'll perform
Whew.
really well, actually. Alright.
Backup 1 7 power spike, putting the life lead up to 7. Well, that's a good one. I like that.
Yep.
Performs really well into the sweep. Gets rid of a 2 card draw from the grasp. I think Cirque got a little bit overconfident there with that slower move because we have this range 3, so we're thinking that hits regardless of where they go. But when we get something like Spike in our face, well, it's all gone.
Yep.
Now we're boosting the Angel Lost, +1 power, +1 speed. That
Yep.
makes some of these other options scarier for Rachel to deal into. Going for the prep. Says, I don't care about your +1 power, +1 speed. I have life lead. We're happy.
Yep. I don't know. But there are really, like, Swift at range 2 is a really threatening card. Like, you could see Rachel's used up a spike. You could see I cannot pronounce any Yuzu card names. The 1 to 3 7 power. That would be a really threatening attack right now because just any slow gets completely crushed by it. Even if you play it fast, you're going to trade quite badly.
Yeah, I've learned the secret to pronouncing user cards, by the way, is just saying the very last word.
Mm, fair enough.
We're gonna see the
Okay.
4 power or the 5 power assault here into the focus. This is
Yeah,
gonna
this
trade.
is another part of the mix-up, of course, right? Just play on curve, get advantage.
Wait, did
Um,
Rachel only take 2?
um, I didn't catch it. Sorry.
Perfect. There
Okay.
we go. Yeah, +1
So
power assault.
the unfortunate thing for Yuzu here is this is not really the gauge you would like to do most of your stuff. So, okay, if she's going to right now spend the block from the gauge to exceed or something, that makes some sense. That makes the gauge a lot more appealing without just the complete miss in it. Um,
Although
I,
sitting at range 1 with these options is still a little bit unfortunate. Oh,
yeah,
we're just CCing 1. Okay, sure.
I guess actually we were talking about the zoning, but once Yuzu gets up to 2 gauge, or yeah, once Yuzu gets up to 2 gauge, this 1 to 4 Ultra is a pretty good anti-zoning tool as well. Like you more often see it used to try to beat a slow and win like 7-0. But versus a zoner, this will get you in at high speed, which is always nice.
Yeah, because that over here, yeah, that's definitely a good option for just kind of getting in if you really need it from long range. Of course, Rachel having her main like range 6 option is going to be that tiny low belly. Actually, tiny low belly actually trades with over or actually beats out over here.
Oh no, I'm talking about Castro, the 2 gauge ultra.
Oh,
If
the two
Rachel is
gauge ultra.
trying to do anything while you're at range 4 and she doesn't herself have ultras to threaten, you can just mash this and get in.
Yeah. Now Rachel's striking at range 1 here. This almost certainly has to be some kind of slow, right? I mean, she has access to chair. She has access to sweep.
Yep,
No,
that's what I
this is
would
actually a
imagine.
grasp.
Okay, well
Man,
I mean
I
that's
got
one
I
way
got
to
hit too.
get that's one way to get out of the corner, right? Just put them in the corner and now your UA works again.
No, we're keeping the
Or
corner.
or keep the corner but get a little more range at the moment. There's trade-offs.
Just grasp. It's that simple. Shoutouts to Serp and Hammy for keeping the name of the tournament alive. Oh. Well, now with that grasp, we're gonna have to think here with Yuzu. We're at range 3, which is a favorable range for us, but of course we are sitting right in front of a spike with a possible flying Lobelli on deck.
Yep, and we've seen an assault go down and one of her copies of the assault lake go down as well, so she might not have an on curve option to initiate with.
Yeah. The other scary thing is where's that at 12 life? If we just run in there and we get hit by a sweep, we're not feeling so great.
Yep, and Rachel has Gauge. If she can get cards in hand, she has the resources to start doing really uninteractive stuff. Ooh, this is kind of brave, but is going to pay off really well.
Yeah, 7 power, that pays
I
off
guess
really
this
well.
does call out the Flying Lobelia that you were mentioning because you can't be pushed or pulled.
Hmm.
Um,
I guess Serp and I are sharing some kind of brainwave today. We're playing the same things and getting hit by the same stuff. Ugh.
okay, Rachel preserving some force. That seems reasonable. It
Yeah.
always feels bad to play a block and then take like more than one damage, but Rachel's economy is really tight.
Yeah, we're sitting at 20 to 12. We're just like we have the life to spare. Life is just another
Yeah,
resource, especially when you're up it.
but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that block. Like presumably the other cards in her hand just don't do anything, which is why she went for it. But I never feel good blocking as Rachel if my opponent hasn't invested heavily into the strike, because you do need that force so badly.
I 100% agree. That force is really good for maneuvering around the board.
Yep.
Now, do you think we would actually see an Exceed Rachel this game? Do you think that's a
That's
possibility?
my preferred line. I like the Exceed. I think it's a really good way to close out a game, which, like, this is. The user is quite low. If you can do some nonsense, you can find a way to play an uninteractive spike drop and just get 5 or 7 armor ignoring damage on the board to end it. But you need to be set up for it, right? It depends on your hand, because your Exceeds effect boost from your hand. So if you just don't have the right cards in
Whew!
hand, it's not worth going.
There's the
Oh,
Kasho
yep,
you were
there's the
talking
Kasha.
about.
Yep. The Kasha with +1 power and speed as well, so this was a very safe Kasha.
It's an 8
Um,
damage Kasho. Holy!
yep.
8 power doesn't stun, but we're going in the corner. Flying Lobelia will miss.
Yep, Flying Ability still gets its cleanup effect, but
Yep.
can't place it under the.
Now that was fantastic. That's exactly what we wanted by Yuzu.
Uh,
Every day.
um, yeah, that evens things up a lot. Rachel does now have the full board to retreat down, which is relevant. That does matter quite a bit. Um, but I guess Yuzu has another copy of this 2 gauger, so she can still.
Yeah, I think the main thing we're worried about here is Rachel now is even if we retreat 2 right now, which is more than likely what we're looking for is to kind of at least retreat 1 cross out or something like that. We
Yeah,
do
that would
have
be a
to
good
worry.
play.
We do have to worry about stuff that Yuzu can go ahead and do here. I'm really hoping for Rachel that she drew a cross here.
I really hope that my correction is accurate, but I'm
No, you
fairly
are
sure that
you
Rachel.
are accurate. You're 100% accurate.
Okay. Yeah, if Rachel's across, it seems like a very easy turn to just back up and cross. Yuzu doesn't have anything to punish that, as far as I know.
No,
Um,
Yuzu can't punish the cross. The only thing Yuzu could really do, range 2 cross. Yeah, no, nothing. Because the 3 to 5 would get stunned. It's not out of gauge, so it
but I
doesn't
guess
get
it
stunned
is
either.
Yuzu's turn. That was the whole thing they were just resolving. So Yuzu has her turn. Rachel would probably like to do that if it gets back to Rachel's turn in this board state, but Yuzu should do something now, probably.
Oh yeah, almost certainly. Question is, Yuzu. I mean, as much as I don't want to use the other Swift and Deadly, I'd probably use the other Swift and Deadly here just to keep the corner. Just to make sure Rachel keeps the corner. I mean, goes out of Rachel. Call it a day.
Ooh, that I could see an argument for that, but you do put yourself on the lightning rod, which is never super fun.
We're
Uh,
actually just UAing here. Oh boy.
this
This
is a
is
pretty threatening gauge at certain ranges, but yeah, it's exciting. All
yeah.
right.
I think we're at that point where Rachel makes the wrong call. She's going to disintegrate.
Yep. Like right now, if Yuzu gets a chance to do her UA and hits Assault, she can just do her UA again, and that could just end the game right there.
Yeah, I think if Yuzu hits with any of these, that person, the other one just disintegrates. Over here, we have a well, actually, over here is not the best because we have a 6, a 6, and a 4. But
Yeah.
Casio, we can just spend
But
the
it's still
6.
7 power coming in, right? At the worst case. 1 plus 2 from the exceed, plus
Oh
4
yeah, you're
from.
right actually.
Yeah,
Plus
this
2
is
from.
threatening. Alright, Rachel. Considering a strike, it looked like.
Please, Rachel, you have to cross out here. There's no way.
Yeah,
There's
I
so
would like to see the retreat one before the crossout. It just
100%.
makes it safer.
We
But
don't want to get grasped. Yep, there we go. Retreat 1. This has to be cross. Gotta be.
yeah, I would hope so.
Flying Lobelia doesn't do too much here. Other spike drops not doing too much here. Whirlwind is, there's no continuous boost in play. I mean, I guess we could consider a slow. It's still a bit scary though.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to slow, because then usually just says, okay, we'll trade, and then takes her turn and kills you.
We saw the slow.
Alright, well. 4 and 3 coming in to the players. Each of them draws 1.
I am frightened right now. I am quivering for Rachel right now. If that Kasho comes out, it is done. Locked. Kasho comes out, the correct Kirinai comes out. Whew.
Kastro is 1 damage short of lethal. Oh no, Rachel's at 8. Okay, yeah, Kastro would just. Yeah,
Kasho wins.
Kastro or on curve assault would both be really threatening. Even
And
over here, just slightly below curve. If Rachel had the cross, I would have expected to see it already.
oh man, we're gambling. It's Serp. We're gambling. This has to be the cross. There's no way. There's no way. All right.
Oh,
Oh,
that's the Kastro. That's gonna be really hard. Okay, that's game.
that's game. Yep, we spend the Kirinai and the over here, and that's game.
Yep,
Yep, he saw it. Woo! First game 3 of the tournament. Let's go.
nice. All right, that'll be
Oh,
interesting.
that was beautiful. All right, Yuzu's gone. Ragnar's gone. We could see the Rachel again. We could see the what was the other pick?
Tau again, or we could see Ramley fall and shoot Gordeau.
Gordo. Yeah, and then one's Gordo. Fantastic. That looked like Rachel's game for so long, and then those two Kashas back to back.
Yep. Yuzu is one of the pretty large, admittedly, pool of characters that has big red number, and you can't ever count a character with big enough red number out of the game.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Those big red numbers will show up at your front door asking for candy. And it did.
All right, Ryan Ram, we're gonna see all 3 of Serp's characters, but Hammy still gets the counter pick. Can be either Rachel or the Gordeau. I would like to just see the Rachel again, honestly. Maybe I'm biased, but I think Ram just has too much economy. Like, she does have to spend it to do her stuff, but she also has a lot of ways to reload. So I don't think Gordeau does that great into her.
Yeah, I actually agree, and that is what we're gonna see here with Hammy. Is we're gonna do the Rachel again because Gordo, especially in all those, the Gordo hates sweep. It said it before. Gordo hates sweep, and you know what Ram has? Sweep, lots of them.
That's true, yep.
So Gordo is not happy to deal with Ram at all. So I am very happy seeing this Rachel stay out here. Now,
Okay, so
Rachel, of course, wanting to watch her positioning here because Ram gets a lot of benefit for the enemy being in the corner. But with that plus power, if they can't be pushed.
yeah,
That's that.
that's one of the things I think is really important on Rachel is having the enemy is going to push you into the corner kind of naturally because it's more appealing to you can close but you can't advance with your ability. And then like you have like cross, which is always an appealing card. You want to just jump back and strike for free with your projectiles. Yeah, I'd like to have a plan to get out of the corner. I'd like to like hold the run in my hand or use the boost on Baden Lily and uncorner myself. That'll be extra important in this matchup.
Yeah, 100%. If we stay in the corner with Ram, I guarantee we are melting. We are disintegrating. So we do
Yeah,
not want that corner at all as Rachel here. We want to make sure that Ram is dealt with nice and cleanly. Of course, flying Lobelia not going to be the most free defensive option anymore, considering we have stuff like Bayonetta on the table and Dauro.
yep. Yeah, this should be a game. I'm having a hard time thinking of a range that either of these characters would be super favored at in a vacuum. This is going to depend a lot on what options are up or down and gauge available to the players.
Yeah, I definitely think that this is going to be a pretty thinky matchup, is what I want to call it.
Yep. I guess at ranges 4 and 5, it is relatively easy for Rachel to initiate the Lobelia again. Well, even then, at rate you can defend with like aggresso, possibly with ability. Yeah,
Well,
it's lots of back and forth here. Should be.
yep. We're gonna be seeing which guesses get thrown out correctly because even if we end up at range 5, if we try and throw tiny Lobelia, we get bayoneted out of it. Actually, bayoneted doesn't do enough to it. Has 4 guard, it's happy. Turn 1 strike though. Turn 1
So
strike.
from the Rachel, okay. So I would think this is the Flying Lobelia, and the counter on Ram's part is to do like spend for ability and do aggressive, but that's a pretty hard call out, right? Um,
Well, you could spend for ability to do aggressive. You could also spend for ability to do
oh
Daro.
yeah, ability Daro is actually as well.
Yeah.
That's a
Here comes the ability
yeah.
as we're talking about. Let's see.
All right, what's it going to be?
And we called
Yeah,
it. Ho
yep,
ho.
yeah. So that's gonna hurt for the Rachel. She does get to place the dive as a lightning rod somewhere. And yeah, I'd like just right there.
Oh,
Hmm.
actually, we're choosing to go right in front of her instead. Interesting.
Interesting. I would rather behind her so you can get more distance off the Baden Lily boost if I was going to not put it on her space. But this does possibly, if Rachel is going to be in the corner for a while, make it harder for Ram to find the right position to stand.
Yeah. Now that is one of Ram's DPs gone, of course. Dowro being her DP. Uh, she spent a Mortabato for that. Mortabato I don't see played too often for the most part. I mean, it's a super 3 gauge DP, but 4 damage
It
isn't the
really
most
wants you
exciting.
to be exceeded, I think, because 5
Yeah.
damage is a lot more than 4.
Yeah. But it's still really expensive Ultra to actually hit with 5
Yeah.
damage too.
I mean, Ram has the economy, so like it's not something I'm super excited. Like I'm not going to initiate with it basically ever, but your opponent always has to keep it in mind once you have the economy to play it.
100%. Alright, we're seeing the sweep come out into the Heirloomel.
Oh,
Sweep's gonna
huh.
trade up 3 damage and and gonna throw a card out from the Heirloomel.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this as the Rachel. I think.
Yeah, kind of evening up those life totals. I think I'm pretty fine with this too. I mean, Ram gets a little bit more economy because the draw too, but
Yeah. The card gets swept. Like Ram gets Gauge is the main thing she gets out of it. Cards in hand doesn't really change.
all right. Now that is one of the sweeps down that we were talking about. The Ardono goes down. That is the faster sweep. So that is going to eliminate some of that options for dealing with those flying Lobelias. Of course, but flying Lobelia being down as well.
Yep.
We're still
Though as Rachel, I am not happy about this position. I would love to find a cross. I'd love to run out of here. Um, do something to get out of the corner.
yeah. I feel like if we end up getting some delayed explosion put on the table, we're gonna be pretty sad too.
But it looks like Ram is probably just trying to press the advantage here.
Seeing a
Focus,
focus on the
sweep.
sweep, gonna trade 4 for 4. Put Rachel down a
Yep,
card and then up a card. State doesn't change too much from even.
yep,
Now Ram has 4 gauge. That's the part where we're getting. So we could see Ram and Seed anytime they want
yep.
for that extra damage. The extra range
And
isn't gonna
the
be.
reload as well is nice, right? Like if Ram's going to just prep anyway, probably might as well exceed.
Yeah, she does have a reload on her back. Oh, there we are. There's the cross. There's the run you were talking about. One.
Yep. I think as Rachel, I'm much happier at this range because, and like, first off, I don't just die to some nonsense that allows Ram to play Bayonetto because I will only take 3 damage from it.
And here comes the
But
Exceed.
yep, fair enough. Ram gets the hand refill. But also, I think Whirlwind is probably the most threatening of the range free options these characters have access to. Like you can play Adaro, it'll beat out defensive Whirlwind, but not for any real value.
Yeah, the Whirlwind. I mean, I don't think we're playing Dowro on defense or on offense too much. I think
Yeah,
it's mostly
exactly.
just a defensive card to call out some of those options of trying to get in.
Yeah, like we saw turn one, Rachel. I know I forgot about the Daro, so when you called it out, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great answer to anything Rachel tries here.
All right, Rachel's just building economy. So Ram here sitting on 6. I'm almost certain we're going to see a strike here. Does it still cost 2 force? Yeah, it still costs 2 force. I mean, what are we seeing here, though? Let's see. We're at range 3, and we have plenty of options at range 3, but of course we have to worry about that Whirlwind at all times. I
Yep.
mean, we could just see something like an Aggressor or Donna. We could see a Saberbado.
Even just something like, yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. I feel like I don't want to initiate too much into Rachel as the Ram right now. I'd like to get some boosts on the table, but of course, as a Season 7 character without much gauge, boost warring a Season 5 character is going to be a uphill battle. You need
Yeah,
that gauge to kind of pull out some surprise. You do have one gauge, which does mean you can find a way to break some kind of situation.
yeah. And that
Um,
one gauge is also sitting on the Calvados as well. You know, Calvados isn't too worried about where we hit it for the most part in this matchup.
yeah,
1 to 5
Calvados
range is pretty
does
massive.
trade down with a lot of spike drops, but it still trades.
Hmm.
And Rachel otherwise has to call it out with with like an actual mid speed.
So I was right about seeing this strike come out from Ram. We're seeing it without any UA on it, so no plus power, no plus range. Um,
Hmm.
and what are we looking at here? I mean, of course, let's see. Aggressor Adano hits, I guess, you know, at range 4. Uh,
I kind of want to see the spike because uh, just Rachel might defend with a whirlwind or a slow. Rachel probably isn't going to assault back in after running away last turn. Um, Performs fairly well into Rachel's options.
oh,
Yeah,
he's
that's what I
trying to
would be worried
bait him.
about, not playing the spike, just getting whirlwinded out of whatever I want to do.
Yep, that's a whirlwind. There's a Rachel DP down. So we're down 1 DP for each character.
Yep. And it's always better to get hit by an unboosted whirlwind than get hit by like a 5 power whirlwind and now Fierce is still in play, so gotta get
Yeah.
it out of there eventually.
Yeah, this is very true. Oh, seeing a strike
Rachel just
from Rachel now. Range 3.
interesting. I don't think Rachel has great. She could just be going for the Tempest Dahlia, I guess, but that seems a little wasteful. Other than that, oh, is this an EX coming out from the Ram? It might be. They're doing some cards and suspicious cards in hand movement.
Yeah, I'm also kind of curious because, you know, Ram dealing with the if this is really a Tempest Dahlia, that is 6 speed. You know,
Yeah, you need to play slow to call that one out.
you have to play it slow. Oh, we're UAing something. Okay. We're spending. Are we spending a lot? No. What are we doing here? Let's see.
Yeah,
Ah, flying Lobelia into the UA'd focus. That's 5 damage for 1. It's not a terrible
it,
trade.
it does get the lightning rod down somewhere, but yeah, I'm not thrilled about that. This is Rachel.
Now, as Ram here, we're sitting even life. We're sitting down economy, so we need to get. We're probably looking to get our stuff rolling again.
Yep, the Ram has better ways to reload than Rachel does. Ram can just drop out a delayed explosion, an efficient, and impose. Just lots of options to draw. Rachel does have to just kind of prep back up if she wants to get more cards in hand.
Yeah, that is true. The impose is also a draw too. I completely forgot about that. And then we also have the efficient as well. We have a lot of
Even the
options here.
necessary discrepancy, though, you'd want a fuller gauge than this before going for it.
Ah, yeah, necessary discrepancy.
But as Ram, I do want to get off these lightning rods. Again, this is probably a range that I would much rather be Rachel than Ram. So I'd love to see something to change the situation.
Yeah, I'm curious if we'll just see something like an Assault Blade here, or if we're just actually going to start playing these boosts. Because Assault would get us off of that, and then we could boost immediately after in order to get the stuff.
Yeah,
Of course, it's
Assault is scary though, because like Rachel, right now Rachel could just cross out and she'd stun you out of the assault with the 2 damage, and now you're at range 6, which is probably in her favor.
ah, this is also factual.
But yeah, this dash is good. It's this little style that you're taking the corner, but you might have a area shift in hand. Rachel probably should be feeling pretty threatened by that. So I'd like to see Rachel maybe retreat too and just prep even, just to
We see the
not
bottom
let
rung
you.
Lily.
Uh, this is another option out of if you do get in the corner. Well, now I can still feed flight. I'm back out of the corner, so I'm not super thrilled about that. But
Yeah, I'm also
you
very.
need cards as Rachel. It's hard. It's a lot of interesting force expenditure decisions. You've got to do what you've got to do.
Oh, hey, you called out the area shift.
Yep. And now I feel like this is a pretty good spot for Ram. So yeah, she's just going for a strike.
Canceling the strike. No UA, of course.
Yep. I would like to see Ram find an opportunity to play like efficient or something and get more cards in hand. But
Yeah, Ram really wants to refill their economy here. Rachel being up in cards, Ram being down in cards isn't exactly the most exciting thing, especially if Rachel ends up throwing you at range.
yeah,
Cancelled with it. Yep, area shift cancel itself. Alright. What are we responding here with Rachel? A slow, maybe? I mean, are we calling out something fast? We have a. Yep, figured.
yeah, this seems reasonable. It's scary to play just a random mid speed, right? So slow is always pretty safe.
Yep, so we're.
And this seems like a reasonably good turn to use the bravado.
Yep, we're just 4 for 4ing here. We're get a card, get a card.
Yep.
This is probably the
It
most
is a
even
sad
game.
to give up impose again, like we were just talking about Ram wanting more economy, but I guess that bravado itself does draw you one, so yeah. Yeah, this is definitely a lot. Very even so far. I would give it slightly to Rachel just for the economy. Like we were earlier saying, I was earlier saying Ram has more ability to catch back up in economy than Rachel, but since then Rachel has been drawing and Ram hasn't really, and Rachel has even more gauge now.
Yeah, that's the part I'm kind of scared of. Is Ram is that this gauge from Rachel. Rachel can basically refill their hand at any point they want. They have the gauge to play the cards they want. They have the gauge to exceed if they want, or they could just make a CC here and a CC later if they need to, and just get up with a full hand.
Yep, and of course Rachel spends a lot of force. She doesn't necessarily need to spend cards from hand, so this gauge is fueling all of that just fine.
Oh, 100%. Now, of course, as we mentioned earlier, it does say close and not retreat, so we're still need to find a way out of the corner at some point. But for now, we're chilling out. I think
Yep.
we're down what? Both focuses, one sweep, maybe a chair? Are we down
I
a
think
chair?
one
Yeah,
chair.
we're down a
I think
chair.
one chair.
So we still have
Let's see.
another chair. We still have another sweep. We still have two slows to chill out in this corner with. And if we don't call those out as ram, then we're going to end up getting beaten up for it because those slows do quite a bit of damage.
Yep. Rachel just
Replacing
ID
chair.
balls.
Placing
Huh.
chair in front of us?
That's interesting. I don't mind. I think the chair is a reasonable thing to boost here. Just if we're going to be in the corner anyway, I'll make it harder for you to initiate into me. I'm a little surprised you're placing it there, but they call it different options. Placing them in the space Ram is currently in versus the space that Ram might end up in attacking into you.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't think Ram has a lot of close though, does she?
no,
Aggresso is
not
close to
too much.
retreat. I
It's
mean,
like Bayonetto, but this is a brave range to play. Not an insane range, but a brave range to play Bayonetto at.
yeah, that is true.
Heirloomo, Daro.
And plus, the Bayonetta only goes up to 6 power anyway, so it's not actually breaking anything without any boosts. The
Yep.
other thing to like worry about here. And then we're getting a whirlwind. All right, now this is interesting because we're at a point where if we stay here, we get hit for +1 power and then pulled onto the chair. If we try and cross out, we're getting hit on the lightning rod. So we're
Yep.
pretty much getting hit wherever we go. The question is here, we really don't want to be hit by sweep now. That is what I do know. Because
Yep.
that is a 7 power, 8 power sweep pretty much, and that is not something we want to be hit by. Not at
Notably,
12
if
life.
we have any focuses left, we can still trade a fit because the push doesn't go off and the last power is at cleanup anyway.
Yeah.
But we'd certainly rather not take that trade if we can avoid it. Um, I honestly wonder if Ram should just move. Actually, that feels too slow though. But Rachel has given up both whirlwinds now, so range 3 is a lot better for you than it was a moment ago.
Oh yeah, that is true. Both whirlwinds are down now. That is a good call. Because range 3 works just fine because the only thing we're worried about is the other flying ability, you know? Yeah.
I think both of those might be down, even. I think you're just worried about Rachel actually playing Assault. Or, actually, range 3 is. Never mind, I just totally forgot Tempest Dahlia existed. Range 3 is scary still.
True. Or necessary discrepancy. Okay.
This seems alright. I'm kind of into this. I might have liked to see like a boost before, because now can't do
Completely
any
out of gauge.
cancels.
Yeah.
But um,
Now, the one thing I'm a little bit sad about now, wait, actually, wait, are we just UAing EX Grasp? Okay, no. Yeah, I'm still scared that Rachel has that sweep in hand. That is the main thing I'm afraid of right now, because that sweep is gonna hurt a lot. But then
yep,
again,
this could also could
Sabrabado,
be, yeah, exactly. EX
yeah.
Cyberbotto, or not EX, UA Cyberbotto, which breaks the sweep. So
Whew, we have to
this is
call
a
this
pretty
as Rachel.
threatening mix-up.
Yeah, we have to call this as Rachel pretty well. Okay, we pull out chair. We got Sabrabado. Sabrabado does not break chair notably.
Yeah, Chair just has that one extra point of guard. Matters surprising. Like you look at this card and it's like this is way worse than Focus, but sometimes something that's way worse than Focus but still has 7 guard is exactly what you need.
Wait, we also
Um,
don't we also take?
uh,
Yeah, we're also
yeah,
taking.
Rachel has to make some decisions here about movement.
Yep, there we go.
So yeah, Rachel takes, or yeah, Ram takes 7 as well. And now it's anyone's game, right? 5 to 5. This is one strike territory. Um,
Yep, both players took 7.
yep.
We're big chilling.
Um, yeah, you got this. I would have loved if Rachel had found a chance to already be exceeded, because if she was, you just like light spike drop, game's over. But I guess
I
most sweeps are down, so that wasn't an option. Or no, one sweep is left, right?
Yeah, there is a sweep. I'm almost certain there's a sweep left. I don't think
But
yeah
like
we
at
saw
this
light
point,
get
I don't
boosted.
know if you can afford to take the time to do that. The other thing that might be nice is just like Bad and Lily get to range and then go for it. See what you can make happen. But it's scary. Anytime it's one strike territory, it often just didn't come down to some kind of mix up.
Now, the main thing we have to worry about here with Rachel with initiating strikes is the Mortabato, right? Actually, no, the other one was just used. We don't have to worry about Mortabato anymore. Never mind.
Yeah, and it's not enough gauge either.
But there
Is
is EX Grasp on the table because we just got Grasp back in gauge. Or back in hand.
and is there focus back in hand? Because UA
There,
focus kills Rachel and doesn't really die to anything.
yeah, Rachel, that is also there. Because does Rachel still have a spike drop left? Did we use both?
We used one for sure. I don't remember if the second one is down. I believe it's up, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, because if spike drop isn't up and we use focus, Rachel just dies. Of course, we do have to. Rachel, I'm sure, still has blocks left. I think they still have both blocks left, actually.
Yeah, maybe Rachel needs to put a boost down, right? And that's why
There
I'd
it
love
is.
to be exceeded as Rachel is. You don't actually have a way to put a boost down and take another action without being exceeded. But okay, now the spike drop is a threat again.
Yup. Now spike drop is a lethal threat.
Yep.
A very lethal threat.
Yep.
Yeah, we're definitely in mix-up territory now. But the main thing we're forgetting is, or the main thing we have to watch out for as Rachel is grasp, right?
There's a lot of right because Ram has a gauge. Ram, I think, still has a focus in hand. So in the very worst case, Ram could just scramble you and try to kill you. But Ram might have like badass try to kill you, which would be even more threatening in my estimation. Just I've
It
probably
depends if
put this.
it depends where the blocks are. If the blocks are in hand, scramble is the most threatening option. If the blocks aren't in hand, then we're worried about the other part. Here comes the scramble.
Yep,
We're praying
and
the
I
block isn't
expect we'll
going.
see the UA as well to get lethal damage on an assault or something. You want to be as fast as you can.
I am in tears. Oh, we're not UAing? We're not UAing?
So maybe this is just
Crossing the temp that thing? Okay.
so that should be invalidated because that's not going to work. But um,
Yeah,
like
invalidate that first. There's no grass in deck, so this works regard. What? Okay, please tell me you actually are invalidating. Please. You don't want to validate
yeah,
this. It loses to the cross.
no, it's not too late.
Validate is on reveal.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the players sorted out. Hammy, I don't know. I feel like most people just kind of are willing to
Yeah, Serp
let someone
is.
rewind this far.
I'm almost certain Serp is gonna let this rewind. There's no reason not to.
Yep, I agree. Alright, so we're getting invalidated. There isn't really anything Rachel can validate into that is that exciting. Like, I guess if you. Okay, the dream is you get Tiny Lobelia and then you have a Bad Lily in hand and then the game's probably just over.
Yeah, the problem here with Scramble is if there is a tiny Lobelia in deck, right?
Yeah.
And cross Scramble, that is the problem with it. Is there or is there that in deck? I would have loved to see something lethal
Or
instead
actually,
of
there's a
cross.
Fierce, so just Tiny Lobelia just wins. You don't even need a follow up.
Oh yeah, true.
Um, yeah.
I would have loved to see something lethal rather than cross here, almost
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah, because you don't even gain advantage, right? And then
Hmm.
it's scary. Yep,
Yeah, they
makes
had to think for a
sense.
second. All right,
What are we seeing instead?
Lobelia,
We are getting
the
a
other one.
second one.
Nice.
That's pretty funny.
Well,
Well,
the
that's
bright
a
side.
little relieving as Ram Lethal because like that's if you cross out and you haven't won the game, that's a thing that kills you. And now they're both gone.
Nope, not
Nope,
it.
that's
Spike
not
drop.
going to be it. Yep. All right.
Okay.
Rachel down to 2, but it is her turn, so she has a lot of
Okay.
resources to make something happen.
Now, this is actually a very important state, right? Because with both of the
Uh,
tiny Lobelia, flying Lobelias down, we, as Ram, we're not, and both of the Tempest Dahlias down, we're kind of hanging out, right? Or does Baden Baden still hit here, actually?
it does not. You need to be on the Lobelia, on the Lightning Rod.
Okay.
So yeah, as Rachel, the question is now that the Dahlias are down, Rachel might not actually be able to punish this that well. You could always just like close two, do something, or like stealthy flight, do something. You have the choice of being at basically any range you could want to be at here.
I
You
feel
have
like,
enough resources to do it. The question is just what do you do at that range?
yeah, I feel like we have to close here because the other Bayonetta is still up. Like Bayonetta is going to get rid of whatever you want to do here because if you play the tiny Lobelia, Bayonetta kills you. That is the problem here is being at range 4. Oh, this is down to the wire. These two players have been down to the wire about all 3 matches.
Yep.
I get the blood pumping in the morning, afternoon, whatever
Yep.
this is.
Uh, Maybe if Rachel has blocks in hand, I would like to see her just succeed and just say, I'll block the next thing you do, and then I get to actually have some action compression and can find a way to get 5 damage out. Because if she just goes for a strike, it's always going to be a mix up, and I don't judge the mix up as being that favorable to her.
Yeah, I think the main thing she has to worry about with blocking is I believe that Serp still has Spike up.
Oh, yeah, and Serp's at range 4 where Spike could be a threat because he's Ramley Fall. Okay.
Yeah, Spike does not beat Tiny Lobelia per se, but it does actually win the. It does not get stunned by it, so it still beat it anyways. Actually.
Yeah, maybe I would have liked to see the Exceed last turn then instead of Boost the Fierce. Because that turn you were at range 1, you were safe from any ignore armor option. You could just block, you could find a way to get something uninteractive happening.
Range
But
3.
yep, here we are, we're just taking a mix up. I think we kind of are obligated to. I don't. Or, I mean, yeah.
Both whirlwinds are
Well, with what
down.
you mentioned about the spike, we might be obligated to just try to win here.
Now, am I right about both tiny Lobelias being down? For flying Lobelias, there's one flying
Yeah,
Lobelia out there.
I believe both Flying Lobelias are down. Um,
I,
and like Flying Lobelia doesn't even do that much for you here because it pushes like lightning rods can't kill. And they're an after.
Wild Swing UA. Oh my god. We have focus in hand, but we're scared to play it because of potential spike.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, spike does make sense to me. I would go for a spike
The
here.
block.
All right, and it keeps going. If I'm Ram, I want to block this whole thing because being at 5 life is a lot better than being at 3.
Oh, every time.
Wait,
We're
1.
taking one.
Wait, why,
Wait,
why,
wait, why
why
one?
1?
Yeah.
Um,
It's for. Oh, math is hard. Me too.
okay. Yeah. Rachel's still in a situation where, like,
But Rachel has no grasps left either, do they? Because they
yeah, I mean,
use both
again,
the plus
Grasp
card.
doesn't kill, though. That's the issue. Like, Rachel just doesn't. If Rachel wants to kill, she has to do something really risky, like play a sweep.
Yeah, I mean,
And,
can't
like,
she? If Serp doesn't play the focus though, can't she just grasp onto the lightning rod? Oh wait,
lightning
lightning rod
rods are
is non-link.
non-lethal. Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, this is why. Yeah, this is why I'd love to have seen the exceed. But we're at range 1 again, so this might be the chance to exceed and block anything, and then go for the kill then.
Yeah, well, we're at range 1, so we can just block everything because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah.
We have so much gauge. Who cares?
The question is just if does exceeding actually enable you to do anything? Um,
CC the
I
other
fit.
button.
Okay, yeah, I would want to exceed because like even if you have block in hand, right? Exceeding just push ram 2, play Baden at range 3 for 6 damage.
If we're CCing, I'm guessing we don't have block in hand. There's
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
Which I really hope for their sake that block isn't their last 2 cards. But. Oh, man. Ram's gotta get like cards here, right? There's no way they can just keep striking because if they strike into a block, that just gives Rachel the upper hand.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess, and Rachel is pretty likely to have drawn it. But on the other hand, you can't really give Rachel more. I mean, maybe you can just keep assuming Rachel's not going to not going to be able to get value out of the time.
Okay.
But
Playing block here is Rachel, of course. Playing grasp here.
okay.
Okay. I wonder if we're sitting on spike, which is why we're doing this.
Mm,
Like,
maybe.
is that why we're grasping, or are we just grasping because lethal? Because we have to know they have block.
Yeah. Not sure. So, but again, Rachel's still in this tricky situation where it's quite hard to actually make the 5th point of damage.
Spend a
Unless
gauge.
she's just willing to spike you or sweep you.
Yeah.
But those are both risky when like Bayonetta is lethal, whatever. Lots of stuff is lethal from Ram's side here. Ram does still have the resources to UA and strike with the card from hand.
Wait, but that's not focused on him because they scrambled forever ago.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean it's whatever it is, it's the card that Ram has chosen to keep. So
Wait a second, is this a Sabrabato, actually, that's in hand still?
no, I thought they used that after the discrepancy too, but maybe I'm incorrect. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
because I used it into the chair.
Yeah.
Okay. What is this then? It's not Dauro, right?
Okay, that light. That's getting in the right direction. Hmm.
Yeah, that light boost is actually really scary for Ram. Especially if Ram doesn't have any dives to take care of it.
Yeah, but you can still just play something that doesn't lose to spike, and you're still gravy. Because Rachel just can't get enough damage to kill you at this range currently without spiking you, basically.
We're down both crosses though, aren't we? Do we have the other Dauro?
Uh,
Dauro doesn't kill. Oh wait, Dauro would kill with
Darrow,
UA.
Cross, or Grasp would all work. I don't know which of them we have left, but
We're down crosses, so we only have
mm.
Dauro. Well, I believe we only have one Dauro left.
And Grasp works at this range. But I
Oh yeah,
guess to be fair, Rachel can retreat one before spiking, so it's not a good defensive option. But
yeah.
like, you could initiate. Well, no, it's scary.
We have to.
Uh,
Parrying?
but parrying the spike. All right, okay, no, this is good. Right. Yeah, normally you don't want to parry spike too highly because
We don't have
okay,
spike.
interesting.
What do we have?
Oh, the dive. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, we misread the situation because now dive or spike drop is both incredibly threatening. I think this is just game, to be honest. This spike drop can't be beat.
Oh yeah. This is way more game actually.
Yeah, this is like actually impossible to beat the spike drop as Ram this turn.
Yep. It's over.
So, yeah.
Parried spike instead of spike drop.
Yeah, but We saw the
Parry.
dive in hand too. The dive works just as well once your block is gone. There's just too many options. Parry, I guess, wasn't the play.
Oh yeah. All
So
right.
yeah, this is a spike drop.
This is game.
Doesn't really matter what Ram does, I think.
Yep.
Looking at the yeah, interesting one.
Here's the wild swing. No UA.
Yeah, GG.
Yeah, because 2 speed. Yep. We're good. It's 5. Alrighty. Well, and with that, Hammy takes it 2-1 over Serp. With that spike drop as the final one. Quiet. That was a really good showing. You know, both players had very tight games. The first game was almost a comeback by the Tau. The second game was in Rachel's favor, and then the user
The
took
Yuzu.
it like
Yep.
crazy with that crazy like 16 damage I think it was in a row, and then this
This game was
last one,
just down to the wire for like neither player could quite find the kill, so it was a
yeah,
really tense endgame for sure.
yeah. Well, this was a fun little series here. We'll be back tonight in about, let's see, what time is it now? We're gonna be back in
A
about
bit more than 6
5 hours.
hours, right? Oh, 5?
Yeah, 6 hours actually. You're right. We're gonna be back in about 6 hours for the download versus Bana matchup, Banazama matchup. So be sure to go ahead and catch us then. I want to thank Rose for joining me one more time before we sign off.
Thanks
Thank
for
you, Rose.
having me. Take care, everyone.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.